Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie Maniscalco. I am the co-founder of Wonder Girls along with Irene Zervudis. As I mentioned, tonight is our first virtual workshop for Wonder Girls in support of our wellness campaign. This is our second annual wellness campaign. All throughout September, we really focus on health, fitness, mental health, mental fitness as well, nutrition. And we will be hosting our second annual Wellness Day and Fitness Fundraiser on September 23rd. That's a Friday from 5 to 8 p.m. It's an in-person event, a 3-hour event. It's going to be amazing. We have incredible speakers. It's also hosted by one of our high school Wonder Girls, and we have great panel discussion going on. We'll have fitness workshops, and we're also giving out our wellness scholarship to one lucky participant who will be winning $1,200. And we're really excited. So if you haven't signed up, please sign up. We will send out the link for you to join. It's $15 for students and $25 for adults. Again, it's a fitness fundraiser. So we're really excited and we hope you can all join us. So tonight we're talking about wellness, and the reason why we are talking about wellness is because the statistics show and studies show that 7 in 10 girls believe they are not good enough or do not measure up in some way, whether it's about the way they feel about their body image, their family life, how they feel in school or among their friends and among their social life. So the reason why we've created a wellness campaign is because we are aiming to change this and making sure that girls feel good about themselves, especially at a young age, and they develop healthy habits. So for tonight, we're really excited to have Holley. She is a coach, a personal trainer. She lives in New York City, and she has been a trainer for many years now. She's an incredible woman. We thought she would be the perfect person to lead this virtual workshop, and we're really excited to welcome her. And I'm going to kick it off to her so she'll introduce herself and we'll get started for tonight. Also want to mention that if you have any questions or comments throughout the workshop, please leave them in the chat. This will also be a little more interactive a little bit at the end, so that if anyone does want to speak, you can raise your hand. Irene will help with us in answering and getting questions out there towards the end. And the Uber Eats $10 code will be given at the end of the workshop. So hang on till the end and we'll be sending them out for everyone. So I'll introduce Holley.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Natalie, for that lovely introduction. I was invited here to share some of the tools that I've used for my personal growth to help me through my journey. I'm hoping that it helps with you guys with your growing with your careers or your bodies or your friendships or even your relationships with your peers. So I want to start by sharing my story. I was a very awkward child. I was very tall and lanky. I came from a very impoverished family. I had a single mom who was a military mom, and we traveled a lot. I had cystic acne all over my face and chest and back. I had the hairiest of the hairiest legs and like just embarrassing body hair. And I was very aware of that, and my mom wouldn't let me shave it. But yeah, so being this awkward teenager, and at the age of 17, my basketball team went to a game in Orlando. And at that hotel that we stayed at, there was a modeling competition. And Basically, you would get free food if you entered. So the entire basketball team entered. We were all tall and relatively active, and um, the one requirement of this competition was to walk into a room, say your name, your height, where you're from. And I was this insecure, timid girl. And I walk into the room and just walk in like the quickest circle that I could. And I start to walk out and I didn't say anything. And someone in the back was like, "Can we get some volume on this girl?" And I was like, ah, and I turned around. I'm like, "My name's Autumn. I'm 5'10". I just ran. Um, but I ended up winning the competition. And it was 2,000 girls. I won $10,000. It really helped me and my mom out. It was very unexpected. I didn't think my life would take that turn. I ended up meeting my mother agent at that event. And that following summer, before I started college, I went to Milan, um, where I had that big boost of confidence after winning that competition. And then when I went to Milan, it was knocked me off that high horse because all of a sudden I'm living with these supermodels. I was roommates with Candace Swanpole and a few of these other Russian models, all from different backgrounds and upbringings. And I would go to castings sometimes. So you go to these castings where there's so many young women and they're so beautiful, and you sign in your name and your agency and your number 100 on the list. And I just sometimes I would feel so like small, and I'd look around and all these girls had like nicer clothes or a nicer bag, or like their hair and makeup was done, and I had like Jordache jeans and like a baggy t-shirt that was my mom's. And sometimes I would just leave because I felt like the rejection of standing there in front of these people was worse than showing up and them dismissing me. I sometimes wouldn't even go to some castings. Like when they would ask me to go to see Prada or Yves Saint Laurent, I would just wouldn't go. I'm like, I'm not good enough for this. You guys don't know any better. I don't belong here. Um, then after that trip, my mother agent sent me to Tokyo, and the industry there is a lot different, mainly because I can't read Japanese and I have to like physically be escorted to castings. So there is an option to not go, even if I didn't feel like I was worthy. Um, so my agents would like take you to like 15 castings a day. You'd meet in front of all of the photographers and casting directors, and they are just speaking in a foreign language and translating. And you're just like standing there like a robot. But then I started getting jobs. I started hitting my stride, getting a lot of commercials. And then I kind of had some confidence, came to New York where I ended up going to college. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I started becoming more successful, booking my catalog jobs, magazines, commercials, music videos in New York City. Um, and I still had, times where I didn't feel good enough or pretty enough. I would go to castings, and like I would see how nice the girl's like nose was. And like my nose isn't small and pointy, or my boobs aren't big enough, or um like my body's too square. I wish I was more curvy, and I would just like my hair is too frizzy. And that would translate so much in like throughout life. I would just compare myself to everybody. And I didn't realize at the time how unhealthy that was for my self-esteem, for my self-growth. And it was eating away at me. When I was 23, I got married. And I didn't know myself yet. It was kind of one of these relationships that turned uh, toxic. But I felt so insignificant. I didn't know like how to get out. Um, my career was blossoming. And then at the ripe old age of 23, I was, my career started taking a turn. I was getting older. There's a lot of newer, younger girls coming in to kind of replace us. My relationship was really struggling. And I was in like such a dark place. I was having like thoughts of hurting myself, thoughts that I couldn't go on. Um, I I didn't know what to do. So with my free time, I started going to take workout classes at a local gym, just to get out of the house because I didn't want to be with my ex-husband. I just didn't want to be in the house. I'm like, I need to get out. And I was like, I am just gonna like beat myself up on the treadmill. And I would cry sometimes in this class. And I'm like, people don't know I'm crying. Maybe they just think it's sweat. Um, and I eventually just started getting stronger and started motivating myself to continue down this path of like being active. And then through going there consistently, I started meeting other women, that were different age groups, different walks of life, different socioeconomic status. And I had such a connection with them. And through the exercise process, I started becoming the woman that I truly wanted to be. I had a community. I had friends that like have turned into lifelong friends. Um, I was able to do pull-ups and push-ups, which before I wasn't able to do. I was thin, but I wasn't strong. And uh, I was like, I need to bring this to the world. Like, I need to. This is what is important, not the superficial BS that I've been living in for like at that point, like just over a decade. Um, so I ended up becoming a trainer and I was doing both modeling and training for a little bit. And then one day I was like, I, I really want to help people and that's where I want to spend my energy. So yeah, so I started specializing in working with women. A lot of people with physiological disorders, eating disorders, um, like I have some people with cerebral palsy, I have some people with Parkinson's. It kind of runs the gamut. But I really just hope that my story can help motivate you to move, find a community, and do it for your mental health, because it's a game changer. So, if you want to get started on the slides, I took some notes for you guys. So first off, just working out, being consistent. The hardest thing is people will go to the gym and they're like, I need to work out harder. I need to sweat. I need to like push myself. When in actuality, it doesn't need to be that hard. It just needs to happen. So, like, even if it's just a walk, meeting up with friends, playing tennis, playing basketball, doing just moving your body, understanding where your body is, and just doing it every day. So, yeah, exactly, Natalie. Exercise is free therapy. Just stay consistent, and work it into your routine somehow. And you don't need to like do high intensity interval training if you don't want to do the stuff, the jumping up and down. If you don't want to do a burpee again in your life, you don't have to. So, uh, so if we move on to the next slide, it can be simple. Like one thing I like to tell a lot of my clients is try to get at least 10,000 steps in a day. That can vary a little bit depending on your age, your height, your weight, but just like it's a good baseline to just move. Your phone measures it for you. Um, and you can look at it right now in your health app and be like, oh, I got like 6,000 today. That's pretty good. Maybe I can go on a little walk before dinner, unless depending on where you're walking, maybe stay home and just walk in a circle. But make it fun. Meet up with some friends, listen to music. Like the more you can make ways for you to enjoy this activity, the more likely you'll keep it consistent. Um, the number one reason that my clients tell me that they don't exercise is they're too busy. And when it comes down to it, everybody's busy. It's just like, it's especially hard when you have kids and you have school or you have a job or you have social activities. But if you really want to prioritize it and prioritize yourself, your mental health, you need to squeeze it in somewhere. So find a place in your schedule. Um, if you know you're a morning person, you can do it before work. If you know you have a break at lunchtime, you can do it at lunch, but try to just put it in your schedule and try not to let anything interfere with that. Try not to schedule anything over it, because if you can show up for all those other things as a better version of yourself, you'll be that much better in the long run. Finding a community or club is a game changer. That's what really helped me. And it's like it creates accountability. They'll call you. You can call them and be like, "Are you going to this class today? Or you want to play this game today?" It also gives you like shared experiences that are like lifelong stories that you'll carry with you forever. And I think those relationships are very important, and they'll motivate you throughout your life. Um, uh, Also, the next slide, we're going to talk about our gratitude journal. One thing that I like to say to my clients is gratitude is what helps you see what you have in front of you instead of what isn't there. um just appreciating the people in your life, the things that, like, you're able to put gas in your car to get to where you want to go, instead of thinking, oh, I really wish I had this bag, or I really wish I had this. Be grateful for all the things you have, and make note of it. Give it that honorary like tribute by writing it down, and you'll start looking at everything throughout your day as like, oh, I'm grateful for this. Oh, this is a great thing to add and to add into other people's life and share that gratefulness with your community. All right, so now on the next slide, we're going to ask ourselves some questions. The first one is, what brings you joy? So that could really be anything, whether it's chess or tennis or your family or school. Just make a conscious like note of what those things are and try not to let them go. Prioritize them in your schedule, in your life, um, and make it like known in your friend group. Um, the next question is, who in your life inspires you to be the best version of yourself? I know that I've had a few people like this in my life. I was kind of a goody two shoes growing up. So my teachers were a real inspiration to me. Um, and they made me want to do a good job. Yeah. So I'm seeing some of these comments: dancing, reading. Yeah. Um, these things are like painting. Great. Like I love painting and dancing. It really, especially for women, connecting to that feminine side, that flow side, it's so healthy. Good. Yeah. Singing. Great. Being outside in nature is a big one, Natalie. Yeah, for sure. Um, I think that, yeah, so, um, anyway, so back to a person that inspires you. It can be your parents, it can be your like peers, it could be a sibling, um, just somebody who you're like, this person really makes me want to be honest, makes me want to get to know myself better. This person has introduced me to things that I've really enjoyed. Um, Next question is, what is an accomplishment you are proud of? So I want you guys to think of something that you've done either throughout your life or recently that like you're like, wow, I really knocked it out of the park. Don't be afraid to brag. I think that our society really shames people for bragging. And I think that is not cool. Obviously, there's some people that kind of take it to another level, but I think that we should be proud of what we've done. I think that you should express it, and then we should encourage each other to express it, and like pat each other on the back, like, you did a great job. You don't need to keep this to yourself. Like, be proud of yourself, share your story, and it can inspire other people. um the next one is a book that has made an impression on you. What book is that, and why? I have a lot of books that I rummage through, like, that I start and reread, that because they really inspire me and they're really insightful, and I like to share them. Um, and one thing I also like to do is every year I like to learn a new skill. So the last question I have here is, what's the next thing you want to learn how to do? And I think it's really important to constantly be learning how to do something. You learn yourself a little bit better. You meet new people that are involved in something that are outside of like your normal like wheelhouse of people. Um, you get you and you acquire something that you can be like on your resume, like, oh, last summer I learned how to sail, or I also do archery, or I can play golf. And I learned to sail last summer, and a couple summers ago I learned how to ride a motorcycle, which, I'm not encouraging everyone to go ride a motorcycle, but I actually met my husband in that class. So you never know what could happen. Just learning something new, you can meet all kinds of people. Um, and yeah, so I think what I want everyone to get out of this is like you can influence each other, lean on each other, especially the adults and parents that are listening to this. Like, just lead by example. Um, Kids are always listening. Um, be mindful of how you speak to them, especially when it comes to addressing your body or the body of people around you. Um, uh, and, you know, a good way to bond with them and a good way to lead by example is to just take them to a workout class or do an activity with them, take them outside to play basketball. Um, and those bonding experiences are they'll remember that for the rest of their lives. Trust me. Like, I remember, like, my mom wasn't the most present mother, but I remember the one time that she tried to play basketball with me. And I'll remember that forever. So I just encourage you to like spend time with each other and grow together. Um, yeah. So um, and lastly, I kind of just wrote down a few takeaways, um, because I think a lot of this is about perspective. I struggled a little bit. I know my mom has struggled a little bit with like like this like victim mentality, and the world is happening to me. And when it comes to fitness and it comes to like, oh, this is so hard, or this defeated mentality, just know like it's not. Like, we're all in this together. Go out there and do it, and you'll get out of it what you put in. Um, Life is a delicate balance between intention and surrender. And what I mean by that is knowing what you want and figuring out who you are and heading in that direction, but also surrendering a lot of control. I think that I struggled a lot with perfectionism. Like, when I was younger, I wanted to be the best student. I wanted to get straight A's. I wanted my teachers to like me. Um, and so much so that I was afraid to take any risks. I I didn't want to do anything that was outside my comfort zone, and out of fear of failure. Same like when I was modeling, it was the same thing. Um, and it took me some time into now my 30s where I really had to like get to know myself. It was after my first marriage where I was like, oh, actually, like, this is something I enjoy. Oh, I want to go in this direction. This is where I see myself um, going forward. When I was younger, I was so influenced by what everyone else thought I should do. My mom told me I should uh, go to school. I wanted to go to school to be an architect. And she was like, no, you should be a filmmaker. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I started taking filmmaking classes. And I was like, wait a minute, So, not saying don't listen to your parents, but like, learn yourself, and it makes space to learn yourself. Um, and then once you're kind of on a path, like, go there, and the universe can hold you in her arms and takes you in that direction. Um, but anyways, that being said, if
You're
anyone has
awesome,
any
Autumn.
questions for me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Irene.
That was
Thanks.
beautiful. Actually, I'll just tell everyone kind of how I met Autumn in Miami at a swimming pool, and here we are. I think it was like a year maybe.
Yeah.
And we connected and bonded, and I think she has a beautiful story to share. And Yeah, you were amazing. Thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. I think that's what we're supposed to be in this life, right? And share our stories to help others. Um, and we want to open this up for questions now. So if you want to raise your hand, I can call on you and you can ask your question, or if you want to put it in the chat box. Oh, someone just asked, how do I find exercises that are best suited for my body and my body goal?
So I would say, besides just writing me on Instagram,
I was just
it
going to say that
depends.
Autumn has an incredible program, so maybe you need to connect through her
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah, you could always find me on Instagram and write me. A lot of it depends. I mean, you're right to think of it as who you are and what your goals are, as opposed to just doing a random exercise. If your goal is to lose weight, you need to work in a lot more conditioning, and just being consistent. If your goal is to put on more muscle, you need to lift heavy weights. Um, Overall, it's just being consistent. Um, but feel free to write me. I can recommend you some videos and send you a program or write you a program. Um, and if you're in New York, we could always work out together, because I'm always down to work out, and I'm always down to have a friend work out with me.
Thank you. So Shirley is asking, I'm trying really hard to gain weight. What can I do?
So Shirley, thanks for asking that question. I think if you're trying to gain muscle, a lot of it is like diet, and lifting heavy weight. A lot of this depends on your age and your height and hormone levels, and there's a lot that goes into this formula. But when it comes to weight, calories in, calories out. And if you're trying to gain muscle, like protein and a good balance of like carbs, healthy fats, and fiber, is a real focus. So just making sure that you're hitting those macronutrients every day. Um, there's a formula to figure out where exactly you are. So surely if you want to write me, I can figure it out for you, and you can share that information with me.
Autumn, can you actually share your Instagram handle in the
Yeah.
chat so everybody knows where to
Yes.
find you?
Yes.
Natalie asked, how has working out helped you directly with your mental health and confidence?
Working out and moving. So, initially when I was doing it, I wasn't doing it for a physical reason. I was doing it for my mental health, and that's still why I do it today. And a side effect is getting fit. um, but it there's dopamine, there's serotonin, all of these like good chemicals in your brain and your body start firing. More different neurons in your brain start connecting to different parts of your body, and it's just like happy juice that just like comes out of your body that has been like stagnant when you haven't been in that lifestyle for so long. So and then you think more clearly and you're more present when you're with people, and yeah, so
Awesome. I love that. That's why I feel like it completely gets you out of your own head and you can't really think about much else when you are doing some form of exercise, right? Like
yeah, I
you're
agree.
getting out,
It's
you're
almost
getting
like
out of your own way.
meditation.
Yeah.
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 How do I get rid of the fear of having to leave my comfort zone? That's a good one.
Okay. So uh, the comfort zone could be different thing to different people, but I'm going to assume it means like working out and then getting past the point where it's uncomfortable. Um, Getting comfortable with being uncomfortable is a tough one. You have to kind of tip your toe in it little by little, get a little bit uncomfortable, dial it back, and then a little bit more. And then once you realize you got to that point and you're fine, you're like, oh, and then the next time you're like, when you're approached to that same situation again, you can maybe push a little bit more, and you know yourself at that point, and you know that you'll be fine. So be gradual and take it easy on yourself and take your time.
Awesome. Robin asked, you mentioned finding yourself. How do you find yourself when you really have no time with school, part-time job, family responsibilities, homework?
Well, that's a good question.
I'll
I've
chime
been
in if you
there.
want to.
Yeah, you go for it. You have kids.
I'm
You
going to
have
chime
lots.
in with that one.
Yeah.
I'm a single mom with 3 daughters. I run a nonprofit. I'm also a lender, a mortgage lender. And I've managed to find the time because I was ready for it and I really wanted it. So you have to be ready to fully find yourself and face the not so pretty stuff that's in there. You have to be ready for that. And you have to be ready to do more work. It's literally another job to have in your life to find yourself. And we're constantly finding ourselves, right, Autumn? Don't you think that you're constantly
Yeah.
finding yourself like as time goes on?
Yeah, I agree. It's a constant job. It's not like, oh, I reached it. No, it's a constant thing.
Right. Let's see what else. You guys have great questions. I would love to slim down. This is from Lena or Lena. I would love to slim down, but my thighs and butt. Wait, I would love to slim down my thighs and butt area. How do I do this? I have asthma, so I can't run.
Okay, Lena, this is a common thing with a lot of women. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of times this is genetic. Sometimes it can be a hormone imbalance. Um, Asthma is something where it you don't have to run. You can walk. You can walk at a brisk pace. You can keep your inhaler on you. You don't have to get to the point where you're so out of breath. You can like just slowly work it in and just as long as you're doing something like kind of like what I mentioned in the slides, 10,000 steps a day. They don't have to be fast steps. It's just moving, and just take that time, listen to music, sing, do whatever you like to do while you're walking. And keep your inhaler on you so you feel safe. And if at some point you want to walk a little faster and you feel safe and your body adapts, it can happen. My husband has asthma and he played lacrosse and he maxes out the treadmill and he brings his inhaler to class. Sometimes he uses it. So I think it's not impossible, but but slowly get out of your comfort zone and just move.
Yeah, moving super important. I have asthma and I do spin. And then if I get, overexerted, I sit, chill a little bit and then keep going.
Yeah.
Again, it's like everything gradually, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Life.
Yeah.
Zara asked, what is a good nutrition plan for a healthy lifestyle?
So this is something where you can ask anybody and everybody will give you a different answer. Um, I I am not a fan of any fad diet. So if anyone says like, oh, Atkins or only eat fruit or juicing, I juice and I don't take in any calories, it's not sustainable. You might drop a few pounds, but you'll gain it all back. So the most important thing is to find something you can be consistent with, making sure that if no matter your dietary restrictions, if you're vegetarian or pescatarian or vegan or you don't eat everything, making sure that you have protein, fiber, making sure that you're eating something from the earth, like fruit and veggies. And it's kind of like what I have is a paleo diet, at least kind of. Sometimes I have ice cream, but don't tell anybody. So like I basically, if a caveman won't eat it, then I try not to eat it. If I can't like hunt it, kill it, grow it, I try to steer clear. I know my body has a harder time breaking it down. I'll feel bloated. I'll retain water. So for me, that's what works. But you're also like allowed to enjoy your life a little bit. So if someone bakes you a cake, have cake. It's okay. Just like the next day, like be like, oh, I had cake yesterday. Like, so maybe like I'll have vegetables instead. Or like, so just be like more aware of what you're putting in, and don't beat yourself up. Please, if you have something you feel like you shouldn't have, it's fine.
Awesome. Um, is there any way to get over the fear of trying to prove yourself to others? I mean, you kind of did that in your life in a way. So
Yeah.
how did you do that?
Um, that was a long process. Yeah, I think that there's this feeling of, I mean, there's so many examples. I felt like I was trying to prove myself to my teachers and then to my modeling agents. I think that there is a way. There's a lot of therapy.
Yeah,
um, but
there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, I think a lot of it is just not caring, focusing on yourself. When I say not caring, like not caring what other people are thinking or saying, um, what they're thinking or saying is their issue. It's not yours. If they think something about you that's negative, that's on them. That's not on you. As long as you can be kind and set healthy boundaries and just be brave and do the right thing, like you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. Nobody's opinion matters.
Do you say that to yourself every day? Like, is that
Yeah.
something like what's your what's a
I should have wrote
mantra?
that down.
Yeah, like what's a
Um,
mantra that you have every day?
um, let me think. I don't really have like a mantra, but there are times that I'm confronted with like debilitating fear, like of like a social situation or someone. Like I think I genuinely, for the better part of my life, had a deep fear of men. And I have clients that are men, and then I almost become like a child. Um, and I have to be like, wait, I'm a powerhouse. I'm an adult. I can talk to these people. They are people too, and they're not this like person standing over me. Um, that has nothing to do with a mantra, but
No, it
um,
is.
it comes into my life as like a shadow, and I have to be like, okay, I can handle myself. What's the worst that can happen? And I have to like keep telling myself, um, I got this. You know?
Right. Like I'm in charge of myself. I've got this. I'm
Yeah,
strong enough. And
yeah,
I was listening to your story and I know you didn't go like into everything, but when do you think like there's obviously nature versus nurture. And I know your childhood was not one of nurture.
hmm
So how did you do that? Like, do you remember, do you have like an aha moment when you sort of said to yourself, I really need to like pick myself up and be my own rock? Like, when do you think that was?
yeah. I think that was honestly like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I I think that there's post traumatic stress disorder and there's post traumatic growth. And I think that I was kind of straddling this like survival mode, this uh like fear mindset, until like honestly recently, like a few years ago, when I decided to like, I need to dive deep, I need to work on myself. I'm observing some of the people in my life who I respect not having the issues I'm having, and I want to be more like them. And they're inspiring me to be the best version of myself. And I want to get there. So my first path was hypnotherapy.
Okay.
Um, and it just kind of helped me go into that other place. And obviously, my therapist. um, but yeah, my childhood was not easy. And I don't know like how much I should be sharing about it, but it was definitely a dark place. And I probably didn't get to know myself until I was 33. And I didn't get to like truly discover what motivates me or truly meet the people that motivated me at a deeper level, or I wasn't able to have those conversations until like a little bit later in life. And I wish that someone told me when I was younger what to do, you know, or like someone that I respected that like could guide me a little bit more. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
Well, here you are, right? And you're
yeah,
doing the work and you're a super successful woman, entrepreneur,
yeah,
and life changer, right?
yeah,
So you're doing it, right?
yeah,
You're
yeah,
you're like really doing it. You're an example. So be
yeah.
super proud of yourself. I just want to read something that Alexa wrote. Everyone is the main character of their own story. Most of the time, they're only focused on themselves. So be true to you and do what makes you happy without worrying. Easier said than done, but think about it that way. That's helped me. I love that, Alexa. I think that's great advice. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Alexa.
Tabitha said, I love the strength you exhibit. And I second that. I think you're a really strong, exceptional woman. And this is why Natalie and I are doing what we're doing. We're able to bring strong, influential women into the lives of girls who were once an Autumn or an Irene or a Natalie, and show them that this is who they can be, that you're not that negative story that you keep telling yourself, that I was there, but, or this woman was here at one time in life, but now has whatever, 175,000 followers on Instagram, and she's teaching people how to take care of their bodies and their minds. And it's amazing. So thank you, Autumn, for being you and for sharing your story with all of us. Does anybody else have any more questions or anything else they want to say to Autumn? Oh, Magdalene, having heard your story, I believe I can be better.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
beautiful.
Thanks.
Okay. And then Natalie, is there anything else that we want to add? Okay, so
Hey,
there's,
everyone, sorry.
okay, yeah.
I was trying to type and unmute, and we've had a lot of people come in and out of this workshop. So I've been trying to keep up with letting everyone in. But yes, thank you, Autumn. This was an amazing um, workshop. And I just love that you were so vulnerable and authentic with sharing your story in such a very touching way. And also giving just very wonderful tips on really, how to really love yourself. I mean, that was the title of our workshop, is learning to love yourself, learning to do things that will make you feel empowered and make you feel and be a better version of ourselves, and also knowing that it doesn't happen overnight, right? It happens with time, it happens with hard work. So every one of us has to put in the work in order to, be the person that we are. So I just want to thank you for sharing your story with us and being a part of Wonder Girls. I do want to mention that I put in the code for Uber Eats, the $10 Uber Eats, if anyone wants to take advantage of that. It is GMHVJS30. That will give you a $10 discount on your Uber Eats. And you could use that code. And if you have any issues, please don't hesitate to email us. And also, please remember to join us on September 23rd. We have our fitness fundraiser, our wellness day. It's going to be an amazing event, 3 hours packed with incredible people, with stories like Autumn And it's really going to be a lot of fun. And of course, it helps to support our educational programming and also scholarships for girls in middle and high school. And if you have any questions or would like to learn more about Wonder Girls, please go to wondergirlsusa.org. And of course, follow us on social media as well. So thank you, everyone. And if that is all, I think we're good.
I'm just going to put the code one more time in the chat because some people didn't get it.
Perfect. Wonderful. Just great.
And again, if the code doesn't work, please email us and we're going to send you another one. The code, oh, Judith is asking, you put the code into Uber Eats and it allows you, it takes $10 off your order.
Yeah.
For Uber Eats. So if everybody wants to write that code down, the GMH, it's right above. Oh, so NM, it's actually right above. If everybody looks in the chat box, it's right in the chat box. Lowercase g, capital M, capital H, lowercase v, capital J, lowercase s, 30. Yes. All right.
And our next virtual workshop is on October 11th, right, Irene?
October 11th. Yes. It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday, and we will be doing another one also on November 8th. So we have a workshop, a virtual workshop, in addition to our in-person workshops. But again, you can find out all the information on our
website.
All right.
Thank you so much
everyone.
for joining us, everyone. This was awesome. Bye, Autumn. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank
Bye.
you.
Oh, Robertson, go to our website, wondergirlsusa.org. You'll find all of our our virtual workshops on there for whoever wants to register. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.